FDRX. I'm in Gmen Ramen. It's next to Stevenston, like the wharf here. So I'm actually coming here. It's kind of like a silver lining because I was supposed to go to Kuhn's sushi bar, but because they do prep and stuff like that from 3 to 5, I don't really have much time because I'm just here, just dropping by. But I drove from Surrey. I was expecting to try really delicious sushi from that sushi bar, but yeah, I was kind of giving a little kickback to the people, like, hey, you're open until 3, but they said they're shutting down shop. But anyways, so I went to Gmen ramen shop at Stevenston. Ended up getting the shoyu ramen with extra pork slices. So I believe it's like a soy sauce based broth. Let's check it out. Some mushrooms, nice. Some greens here. There's spinach, surprisingly. Noodles. Like an egg. Oh, and more pork slices underneath. Okay, what up, y'all? So, how it works at this restaurant, surprisingly enough, so when you enter from the street, like they have this big billboard, and then you just pick, and then after you're seated. I don't know if it was different from before, but that's how I ordered up when I came through. September 11th, 2021. But they say first time try me. It's a shoyu ramen, so authentic light chicken, fish, and clam broth. First time hearing fish and clam broth, but anyways. So homemade soy sauce seasoning. So that fish and clam broth, let's hopefully it's not like too fishy by any means, but there's seaweed in here, so. Let's get it. Gmen at Stevenston and Richmond. Noodles aren't bad. Pork slices are nice. Let's get this nicely cooked soft boiled egg here. Get some egg and noodles. The broth is nice, but it's thin. It reminds me a lot like if you're going for like a drink, like coffee, tea, just something chill, just like the bare bone basic. That mushroom is nice, but I'm just thinking in retrospect, they gave a lot of pork slices here. Although it could be a little softer, but it has the right amount of tenderness where it's just got like the firmness to it. But yeah, when I slurp up this broth here, you can taste the hint of like clam and taste the hint of the fish. So normally, I'm a bigger fan of like pork broth base, although it's like more fattier, saltier. This one, it just seems like refreshing. It doesn't bog you down. Ramen. Yeah, in retrospect, there is a lot of meat slices in here. But it's pretty good. It's not too heavy for a broth. It's thin, but not too insanely like salty, which is nice. Anyways, talking about things in the news here, I'll quickly bust some stuff out. Today, memorial for 9/11 with what happened in the States. My thoughts and prayers to the families affected. I remember back when it happened, I was living in BC at the time. It was 20 years ago. And because we're 3 hours behind Eastern Standard Time, when the first one hit, like at 9 o'clock, it was 6 a.m. our time, but it was plastered all over the news. And I was like young at the time, didn't know anyone that I knew personally affected by it, but it was just like such an intense kind of thing that just happened. And yeah, to be honest with you, I mean, like, it just changed the way that people do things, like flying and outlook at certain specific things. And I mean, like, I was too young to understand anything of what was going on, but that was like such an intense thing. But I would say though, like, apart from like all the massive portions of the pork slices, the garnishes, I do like mushrooms, but I like the woodier mushrooms where they're cut out. Maybe what I'm eating is the same thing, but it's like the actual slice itself. Thank you. Yeah. Noodles are okay. They're medium thickness. I prefer a thinner ramen noodle. But definitely these pork slices, normally they skimp out at other places just two. Here I believe they just by default give you like 6. But by default, normally for other ramen spots, like if you get 6, then it's like an add-on of 4. But there isn't any in between where by default it gives you 2 as a starting, and if you want more, you get like, oh, you.
Yeah, we're closing cash right now. Is it okay if we take?
Alrighty, folks. So, yeah, host came through, similar to like, actually he just said essentially at like Asian restaurants, they kind of do a lull in between lunch and dinner service. So super blessed that I actually just like slid right in and just was able to order something, do this, and just like bounce. Because I mean, like, the unfortunate nature of other restaurants, but it's all good. Personally, I have to say, this one, I would say it's like the beginner's, like, run-of-the-mill, just like, you get a intro into ramen, because if you're used to, like, soups, like Western soups or anything like that, like a chicken noodle soup, this is like that, but yeah, a different kind of way of being hearty, because like chicken noodle soup, it's like got that like twisted style pasta, like the clear broth, the carrots, and all that stuff. This, it's just like it's so heavy on like the medium thickness noodles. 5 pork slices actually. I stand corrected. I said 6 earlier, but they upgraded version with like 2 eggs, 5 pork slices for like I think $4 or $5 more. But yeah, didn't really get that like intense oceany like fish flavor in the broth, and also like the clam kind of complements it. It's just like going hand in hand, and it just like elevated it. But yeah, super fresh like broth. Normally I would refrain from getting this style of broth just because like I prefer like a super fatty, super rich, but this was good for, especially I plan to intend on doing something like later on, so definitely a good intro one. The host that when I rolled through, they recommended a super spicy one if I can handle that. And that one was called the RCMP with ajitama and cilantro. So the RCMP stands for red chili miso pepper seasoning. So I didn't offer that because I don't want to like hate myself like later on in the day when I go to the washroom or the next day, but I can handle my spice. But anyways, shoyu ramen, soy sauce based seasoning for the broth. But what surprised me though was the chicken, fish, and clam combination for the broth itself. Super fresh, super light, liked it. My only comment was like the medium thickness noodles. That's just my personal preference, but everything in its entirety, quite good. Anyways, that's it from me at Gmen. Thanks for staying tuned. Click subscribe, and that's a wrap from me. Bye for now.